Hello everybody and welcome back to Shelf Indulgent. My name is Devin and today I want to yet again start out with an apology. As most of you know, I just bought a home and I was in the process of moving for the last 2 weeks or so. As you can see, I am in the new place and it is not unpacked or done. I don't have a filming setup yet, but it's time. This is going to be my February wrap up. This is take 2 because I did actually film this video last month in the old apartment, but unfortunately I did not realize that the new gaming headset I bought became the default audio on my recording program, and I filmed like 3 or 4 videos with no audio whatsoever. Super fun stuff. So we're going to do take 2 today. I know it's super late, but I think you guys will enjoy these anyway. So I think that's enough lead-in. All that being said, let's just get into the books. So we'll start with graphic novels. In February, I read Paper Girls 2, 3, 4, and 5. I did talk a bit about Volume 1 in a previous video, and I don't want to spoil later storylines, so I will just say that this is a lovely comic book series all about these newspaper delivery girls who accidentally get into some weird shenanigans, and there may or may not be time travel involved. And I absolutely love this series. I think the next bind up is actually going to be the last one. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'm kind of sad to know that the series is going to end. But I'm curious to see where it's going. So I will pick that one up when it comes out also. The next book I have for my February reads is I Might Regret This by Abbi Jacobson. I got this from the library, so yet again, please excuse the glare, guys. I don't know what to do about that. But this book was absolutely fantastic. It is, just like it says, a lovely collection of stories and some drawings and just other stuff. And what I really loved about this book is, even though it is a memoir and even though it is just a collection of essays all kind of strung together, there's kind of a central story of Abbi Jacobson falling in love with a woman for the first time and then breaking up with her, and she gets her heart broken, and then she takes this trip across the country and writes this book. So it kind of reads almost like a diary, but I don't want to say that. There aren't like diary entries or anything like that, but it's an interesting concept to me, and I really enjoyed just following her as she crossed the country and kind of figured everything out. And it was a really great read. 5 stars from me. The next book I'm going to mention, I really wanted to give 5 stars, but I did not. It is Radical Hope, Letters of Love and Dissent in Dangerous Times. So this is a collection of essays. Again, I read a lot of nonfiction in February, but this is a collection of essays, and these are kind of in response to the 2016 election results. And so all of these different authors, I think it's like 23 or 24 different authors, all wrote letters to either people in the past or people in the future or people in the present that they love and care about, and kind of just talked about what we can do to feel better. And I thought that this was going to be a very hopeful book, and it was, and very much like a collection of short stories, like an anthology. There were some that hit very hard, and there were some that were big misses. I liked some of them. I didn't like some of them. I also felt like I would have liked this book more if I read it closer to the 2016 election, and it just kind of didn't hit the mark after so much time has passed. So I ended up giving this one 3 stars. Again, I did end up finding some authors that I'd like to read more by, so it wasn't a total bust. Next up, I have one of my favorites of February, and that is The Ballad of Black Tom. This is a tour novella written by Victor LaValle, and Victor LaValle is a huge H.P. Lovecraft fan. As I'm sure most of you know, H.P. Lovecraft had some pretty problematic viewpoints when it came to people of color. So this is kind of a retelling of a short story by H.P. Lovecraft called The Horror at Red Hook. And Victor LaValle just took it and made it his own. And it was It's a really beautifully done book. I don't read a lot of horror, and so I was leery going into this that I wouldn't like it because I haven't read much H.P. Lovecraft. But I absolutely loved this book, and I cannot wait to read more by Victor LaValle. Next is another Tor novella, and that is All Systems Red by Martha Wells. In this book, we follow an AI who has hacked their government module, so they now have autonomy. They refer to themselves as Murderbot, which I find pretty adorable. So Murderbot kind of just wants to watch TV and be left alone, but Murderbot has a job where they have to work as a bodyguard for a group of humans on this remote planet. And things happen, and I absolutely loved this. I will say I gave it 4 stars because about halfway through I was kind of struggling to stay in the story, but once I kind of got past that little bit, I was good to go again. But I loved this book, and I definitely plan on reading the others in the series. I believe there are 4 out now, so I plan on giving those a shot. Next up, I have a short story collection, and that is There Once Lived a Girl Who Seduced Her Sister's Husband and He Hanged Himself. And I'm going to butcher this name, but I believe it is pronounced Ludmila Petrushevskaya. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. This is translated from Russian by Anna Summers, and I'm a little disappointed to say that I only gave this one 3 stars. There was nothing wrong with the stories in this collection. I think I was just a little let down because I read a collection by this author back in October and I absolutely loved it. And this collection just left me kind of meh. So I gave it 3 stars. If you are into short stories, I would recommend giving it a try because, again, like I said, the writing isn't bad. There's nothing wrong with them. I just didn't find it as overwhelmingly stunning as the first collection that I read by her. Up next, I have more nonfiction, and that is Sachi Cole's One Day We Will All Be Dead and None of This Will Matter. This is a collection of essays in which Sachi Cole shares her experiences of growing up in Canada and of being a woman of color, of her experiences with misogyny on the internet, and just all kinds of things. My favorite one in particular is an essay in which Sachi Cole relates the story of her getting stuck in a skirt in a dressing room in a store. And as someone who has been stuck in a dress in a dressing room in a store, I was dying. Like, it was just too much. I personally related, and it was so good. So if you want to dig into some serious topics but also laugh a lot, I highly recommend this one. Speaking of laughing, the next book is another humorous nonfiction memoir / autobiography, and that is You Can't Touch My Hair by Phoebe Robinson. Phoebe Robinson is an actress and a comedian and one half of Two Dope Queens, which is was a podcast and an HBO special. She also just came out with another book, which I'm going to pick up because I absolutely loved this. It was really funny, but it also addressed some really important issues. So I just love this one. Highly recommend. Next up was Jesmyn Ward's Sing Unburied Sing. In this book, we follow Jojo, who is a 13-year-old boy growing up in Mississippi. And we also get some chapters that are from the perspective of his mom. And I finally understand why people say that you should read Jesmyn Ward. Jesmyn Ward had just a really beautiful way of writing. The imagery in this book is just like something I've never read before. I absolutely adored this. I definitely plan on picking up more Jesmyn Ward, and I have to read more. It was fantastic. The last book that I read in April was The Winter of the Witch. I don't want to say too much about this book because it is the 3rd book in the Winter Night trilogy by Catherine Arden. I just loved it, y'all. If you haven't read The Bear and the Nightingale yet, I would highly recommend picking it up. It is a beautifully written fantasy trilogy with folklore that you don't frequently see being used in fantasy. This book I absolutely adored. I loved this whole trilogy, and I just looking at it makes me want to go back and read this trilogy again and start over. And I literally just finished it. This was a great wrap up to the whole thing, and it's still as strong as the first and second books. And I really, really loved it. I would highly recommend the trilogy and highly recommend the book. So those are all the books that I read in February. So what have you guys been reading in February or in March? Or what are you reading now? Leave that in the comments below. If you read any of these books, be sure to let me know your thoughts as well. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and on Instagram for more content, because I do post different things there. I promise you guys I'm going to get a March wrap up here soon. I have about 5 videos to film. I have all the books set aside for them. I just have to start figuring out time in my crazy life to film videos and edit them and get them updated in a timely manner for you guys. So thank you guys so much for your patience with me on this, because moving is literally the worst. The worst. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!